The world of global finance was shaken recently by a bold statement from former President Donald Trump. He suggested imposing a 100% tariff on all goods from the BRICS nations. This group includes some of the world's largest emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Trump's reasoning: he believes these countries are actively seeking to undermine the US dollar's dominance. He sees their push for alternative currencies in international trade as a direct threat. The former president's statement reignited a simmering debate. Is the US dollar's reign as the world's reserve currency coming to an end?
The dollar has held this privileged position for decades. This gives the US immense economic power. However, the BRICS nations have grown increasingly frustrated. They argue that the current system gives the US an unfair advantage in global trade. The threat of such a massive tariff sent shockwaves through the global economy. Businesses and investors were left reeling, trying to comprehend the potential fallout. The possibility of a 100% tariff on goods from 5 of the world's most populous nations sparked fears of a global trade war. Many analysts worried about a sharp increase in prices for consumers worldwide.
Trump's statement, while not official US policy, underscores the rising tensions in the global economic order. This is a period of significant geopolitical realignment. The former president's words are a stark reminder of the high stakes involved as nations jostle for economic influence in a rapidly changing world.
China wasted no time in responding to Trump's tariff threat. Beijing urged a calm and measured approach, emphasizing the need for dialogue and cooperation. Such aggressive economic policies are detrimental to all parties involved. We reiterate China's commitment to a multipolar economic world. The interconnected nature of the global economy means a trade war would have no winners. It would only lead to economic hardship for all nations. They stressed the importance of mutual respect and understanding in navigating the complex landscape of international trade. China's response highlighted the delicate balance it seeks to strike on the world stage. On the one hand, Beijing is determined to defend its economic interests. It refuses to be bullied by what it perceives as US unilateralism. On the other hand, China recognizes the importance of stability in the global economy. It is keen to avoid actions that could trigger a full-blown trade war. The measured tone from Beijing reflects China's growing confidence. We see ourselves as a major player in shaping the future of the global economic order. Our call for dialogue and cooperation underscores our preference for diplomacy and negotiation over confrontation. The tariff threat triggered immediate anxiety in global markets. Stock markets worldwide experienced sharp declines. The US dollar, often seen as a safe haven during times of uncertainty, saw its value fluctuate wildly. Investors were left grappling with the potential impact on global supply chains and trade flows. The uncertainty surrounding the future of US-BRICS trade relations cast a long shadow over the global economic outlook.
Businesses reliant on imports from BRICS nations braced themselves for potential disruptions. Multinational corporations with operations in these emerging markets re-evaluated their investment strategies. The market volatility underscored the interconnectedness of the global economy. It highlighted the risks associated with protectionist policies.
The tariff threat served as a stark reminder of the potential for political rhetoric to translate into real-world economic consequences. The global market reaction served as an early warning signal. It demonstrated the potential for significant economic damage if the US were to follow through on its tariff threats. The episode revealed the fragility of global economic stability in the face of rising geopolitical tensions. Some analysts believe that Trump's tariff threat, while economically damaging, could accelerate a move away from the US dollar. For years, some countries have expressed concern about the dollar's dominance. They see it as a tool that the US can use to exert political pressure. The BRICS nations in particular have been exploring alternatives. These efforts to reduce reliance on the US dollar have been gaining momentum.
Several bilateral trade agreements now use alternative currencies for settlement. There is also growing interest in using digital currencies like Bitcoin to bypass the traditional banking system. This could further erode the dollar's dominance.
The potential decline of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency has significant implications. It could weaken the US's global economic and political influence. It would also force the US to be more fiscally responsible. The US currently enjoys the privilege of printing the world's reserve currency. This allows it to run large budget deficits with less consequence than other nations.
The shift away from the dollar is a gradual process. However, Trump's tariff threat could hasten this transition. It reinforces the perception that the US is an unreliable economic partner. This could incentivize other countries to diversify their currency holdings and reduce their dependence on the US dollar.
Section 5. The BRICS currency conundrum. The idea of a unified BRICS currency has been floated for years.
Proponents argue that such a currency would challenge the dollar's dominance. It would create a more equitable global financial system.
However, the creation of a new reserve currency faces significant hurdles. One of the biggest challenges is the lack of trust and coordination among the BRICS nations.
These countries have diverse economic interests and political systems. This makes it difficult to reach a consensus on the complex technical and political issues involved in creating a new currency.
Another obstacle is the lack of a deep and liquid financial market within the BRICS bloc.
For a currency to become a global reserve, it needs to be backed by a robust financial system. This system must be capable of handling large-scale international transactions.
The BRICS nations are still developing their financial markets. Despite these challenges, the BRICS nations continue to explore ways to enhance their economic cooperation.
They have established the New Development Bank, which is seen as an alternative to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. They are also working on developing a payment system that would reduce their reliance on the SWIFT system.
Section 6. The risk of retaliation. The BRICS nations are unlikely to stand idly by if the US were to impose a 100% tariff on their goods. The potential for a tit-for-tat trade war is a significant concern. Retaliatory measures would be swift and could include tariffs on US goods, restrictions on US investments, and a concerted effort to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. China, with its vast manufacturing capacity and its position as the world's second-largest economy, would be in a strong position to retaliate. Beijing could target US companies operating in China, restrict access to its vast consumer market, and utilize its economic clout to build alliances with other countries. The risk of retaliation highlights the high stakes involved in any attempt to reshape the global economic order. Unilateral actions like the proposed tariffs threaten to unravel the delicate web of international trade and cooperation that has been painstakingly built over decades. Such a scenario would have devastating consequences for the global economy. It would disrupt supply chains, increase prices for consumers, and stifle global trade. The economic fallout would be felt worldwide. Section 7. A divided world. Trump's tariff threat lays bare a growing rift in the global economy. On one side is the US clinging to its position as the world's dominant economic power. On the other side are emerging economies like the BRICS nations. They are increasingly assertive in demanding a greater say in shaping the global financial system. This divide is not just about economics. It reflects a deeper geopolitical shift underway. The rise of China and other emerging economies is challenging the US-led global order that has been in place since the end of World War II. This is leading to increased competition for resources, influence, and technological dominance. The threat of a trade war between the US and the BRICS nations is a symptom of this broader geopolitical realignment. It underscores the need for a new framework for global economic governance. This framework must be more inclusive, equitable, and responsive to the needs of all nations. The future of the global economy hinges on whether the US and the BRICS nations can find a way to manage their differences peacefully. A failure to do so could lead to a more fragmented and unstable world. Section 8. Navigating the uncertain future. The global economy is at a crossroads. The path forward is fraught with uncertainty. The US's threat of imposing a 100% tariff on BRICS nations has exposed the fragility of the existing global economic order. The coming years will be crucial in determining whether the world can avoid a descent into protectionism and economic conflict. Dialogue and cooperation will be essential in navigating this complex landscape. One thing is clear, the era of unquestioned US economic dominance is coming to an end. The rise of China, India, and other emerging economies is shifting the balance of power. The global economy must adapt to this new reality. This requires a willingness to reform existing institutions. Global governance needs to become more inclusive and representative of the changing global order. Section 9. Conclusion, a call for cooperation. The threat of a trade war between the US and the BRICS nations is a wake-up call. The global economy is at a critical juncture. The choices made today will have far-reaching consequences. The stakes are too high for narrow self-interest and zero-sum thinking to prevail. The world needs leaders who understand the interconnectedness of the global economy. We need leaders who are committed to finding solutions that benefit all nations. The time has come for a new era of global economic cooperation. This requires a shared commitment to open markets, fair trade, and a rules-based system that works for everyone. The alternative is a world divided by protectionism, economic nationalism, and conflict. This is a future that we must avoid at all costs.